Well, I'd like first to congratulate the University of Florida. I thought, they played a good basketball game. Obviously, we just played them down there, and it was a great game. We went out, lots of runs back and forth. And you give them credit. They made big plays down the stretch. They came from behind. And, so you got to give them credit for the win. And it was a big game, I think, for both of us. I think both of us feel like we were probably on the NCAA bubble trying to find a way to prove that we belong in the NCAA tournament. And I think we knew the winner of this game probably had the opportunity to be a little bit higher on the bubble. So, Florida's earned that right, and they'll go on, and hopefully they'll do whatever they need to do to get in the NCAA tournament and represent the SEC. And if they do, we'll be their biggest fans, even though we might not like them right now. So we give them credit. As far as our team goes, I got a great basketball team. This team has played tough all year long. I've said this over the last 2 weeks. I know that there's a lot of things that have to happen for you to get in the NCAA tournament, and realistically speaking, we probably, with this loss today, might not get invited. But the one thing I can say about the SEC and the one thing I can say about this team, without any doubt in my mind whatsoever, is that the University of Arkansas is good enough to get into the NCAA, and they're probably good enough to get in and win games in advance. But the criteria is the criteria, and you've got to do what you have to do in order to make that easy. So I'm proud of my team. They came from behind several times in this game. They did everything that I asked them to do. We just came up a basket or two short, and that's kind of been the story of this team all year long against really top-notch opponents, especially in the SEC.
Kara?
It was by far a tough loss. It was just hard because we knew that we could go out there, and if we played our hardest that we would win, and we just fell short the last few possessions or whatever, and
Sarah?
Yeah, we've had a great season in the SEC. We haven't come out with a lot of wins that we thought we should have had. They play a lot of close games, but it's just another game that slipped out of our hands that we just didn't finish the way we should have, or maybe could have gotten the win if we tightened up on some turnovers, but that's the way the game's played, and the SEC is a tough conference to play in.
Any questions for the student athletes? Coach, any questions?
Well, I guess I'm probably going to repeat myself here again. And if there's no media here, this probably isn't going to go out on the news wires anyway. But I think the SEC, bar none, is the best conference in the country. There's no doubt about it. There's not another conference in the country that could sit up and even try to argue in this particular year. We've had 5 teams ranked in the top 15 in the country all year long in both the polls and in the RPI. No other conference comes close to that. With LSU moving into the polls and moving up in the RPIs, now there's 6. This conference is good enough to get 9 or 10 teams in. Realistically speaking, I don't think it's going to happen. I think some of us are going to have to go try to win the NIT. But this is the best conference in the country, and hopefully the NCAA committee will take notice and decide that they want to put the best 64 teams in the tournament.